Okay. Please, good evening, everyone. I know we are all doing well. So, since we all agree that we will commence the tutorial at exactly 7 p.m., and I think it's 7:05 now, so we can proceed with it. All right. So, we are going to delve into social work and NGO development. Yes, social work and NGO development. And we are just going to look at some reflective questions that I deem it very likely to come in your exam, and I think they all need elaboration on them so that it will just be as a form of a framework or a model to guide us as we just delve into the social work and NGO development. So since we are writing it, we, God willing, it's very vital that at least we understand vital areas and also some approaches that are deemed very, very, let me say, fruitful and healthy for us to be able to know how we should approach each and every question, because the questions are diverse and each question demands a different approach in tackling them. So without wasting much time, let's just zoom into it, because like I said, it's 7:05, so we have about at least 5 minutes has come to add up to the time. So let's see. So you know how we do our tutorials, just in the form of a reflective session. Yes, so it's in the form of questions, then how we should go by the questions. So that is basically how the tutorial format is about. So let's just zoom in straight to it to just see it. All right. So reflective questions on social work and NGO development. So before I start, I want to give you this presser. When I say presser, this is just a brief to guide us in our preparation towards the exams. So with the NGO developments, I believe we will have possibly some two questions, and these two questions, they would be or they might be compulsory. So in all, you'll be asked to answer three questions in all, but then you have two compulsory questions where you will be allowed to take one of it. So two compulsory questions, but then you are allowed to take only one out of it and answer from the two. You are done. We have about 3 or 4 optional questions. Then that side too, you take two from it. So you are answering 3 questions. So that is just a pressure that I just want you to know. So please, before you start the exam, please and please and please make sure you read the preamble. Otherwise, if you don't read it well and you do a mess, nobody cares, because it was highlighted there that you need to read the preamble before you start the exams. As I said, if you answer two compulsory questions and go on and answer, let's say, one optional questions, they are marking 2 of the 3 you've answered. So please make sure you read the instructions very well before we start. And as I've already told you guys, please, we will have 2 compulsory questions, and out of the 2, you are mandated to answer 1 out of the 2. So you just assess the 2 compulsory questions, and the one you think is very cool for you to answer, you just answer. Now from there, you come to your optional questions. So these are some of the things that are very, very important for us to take through. So I just drafted some 2 likely compulsory questions that I think are very I wanted to use certain phrase, but let me pause. That I think are very important for us to look through, because the likelihood that they will appear, if I'm to assess the confidence level, I would say about 90%. Do you get it? Yes. So I know we all did confidence interval. So when the confidence level is high, you know that it's very important for you to pay critical attention to them. So my confidence level is about 90%. So please, whatever we're going to discuss, make sure you just take your time to understand them very well. And I said, I've just drafted some questions, and I believe, and I know him very well. I know him very, very well, because I've been with him. We've been setting questions together. You get it? So I know his approach very well. So what we are going to discuss, I said, I'm 90% confident. You get it? 90% confident. All right. So now let's move on. So I have this likely reflection questions. So we have likely compulsory question 1. You get it? So this is a likely compulsory question. I think we might chance on it. Are you okay? So the question is on NGO, and you know NGO is the course we are doing. So basically, if we have a question on NGO, it shouldn't be something new to you because that is basically what you are doing or what you are reading this semester. Do you get it? So that is it. Number 1 says that it says NGO may be differentiated in 2 categories of operational and advocacy. So when it comes to NGO development, they may be categorized into 2 main forms. We have ones that are operational and the others are also into advocacy. So we have some NGOs that are operational in nature, some other NGOs too, for them, they are into advocacy. So this is just a preamble. The main question comes. So question number, sorry, this should be B, not I. It's the same thing. Okay. So question number, so the likely compulsory question number 1 says that we should explain the 6 types of NGO differentiated by 8 specific areas of work. Do you get it? So I just attach 5 marks to it because I know that with the compulsory questions, each question will be 20 marks. For the compulsory, it will be 20 marks. So the first question is always 5 marks, and the second question is always 15 marks. So it simply means that with the second question, you need to really do more work there. Yes, you need to really do more work there. Okay, so that is the questions. So when we say the types of NGO, we know them, that we have 6 core types of NGO, and they all have examples that we can all cite. So the first type of NGO is called the bingo. So bingo is an NGO type. That's BINGO, bingo. Now, when you mention the bingo, you need to add examples to it. So please, I'm just showing you how to answer the questions. So when you list the type, make sure you provide examples to the NGO type. So when we say bingo, it's what? It's big international NGOs. That's bingo, big international NGOs. And an example of big international NGO includes, we have Red Cross. So Red Cross is an example of big international NGO. And we also have UNICEF. So Red Cross and UNICEF, I only gave 2 examples. So Red Cross and UNICEF, they are example of what? Bingo. That's big international NGO. And that's the first type of NGO. Now the second one is GONGO. So GONGO. So GONGO. So GONGO is what? It's government organized NGOs. Government organized NGOs. So GONGO is also the second type of NGO. And what example can we give under the government organized NGO? So we can give example like Action Aid, World Vision Ghana, Care Ghana. So you see, these are all examples of GONGO. So we have Action Aid, we have World Vision Ghana, we have Care Ghana. These are all examples of what? The government organized NGO, which is the GONGO. Now let's go to the third type of NGO. So the third type is what? RINGO. So RINGO, RINGO. So RINGO is what? Religious international NGOs. So we have NGO that are religious based. So religious international NGO is what? It's RINGO. And what example can we give here? Here we can give Catholic Relief Services. So Catholic Relief Service is an example of RINGO. So I think we have Reverend on the line, right? So Reverend, shout out to you. So you see, Reverend falls under the RINGO. That is what? Religious international NGO. So we have the Catholic Relief Services. We have the CYO, the Catholic Youth Organizations. Yes, we have CYO. You know them. Yes, so you just mentioned those examples under the RINGO. Now, the fourth type of NGO is the ENGO, ENGO, ENGO. And ENGO is what? The environmental NGO. So environmental NGO is what? Is ENGO. What example can we give here too? Here we can give Green Ghana and also Greenpeace. So Green Ghana and Greenpeace is an example of ENGO. Yes, ENGO. We have Green Ghana and we have Greenpeace. So these are NGO. Their core mandate is to protect the environment. You get it? So sometimes you see some NGOs, they are planting trees, they are doing sanitation exercises and other things. They all falls under what? under NGO, that's environmental NGOs. Now the fifth type of NGO is INGO, INGO. So INGO is what? It's international NGOs. INGO is international NGOs. So what example can we give under INGO? So INGO, we can give what? USAID. So USAID or USAID is an example of INGO. We can also give Oxfam. So Oxfam and USAID or USAID is an example of INGO. Don't forget INGO. Now, the last NGO type is what? CSO. CSO. CSO stands for what? Civil Society Organizations. So civil society organization is an example of what? It's the meaning of CSO. So when you see CSO anywhere, the full meaning is what? Civil society organizations. So what example can we give here? So one classical example we can give under CSO is Amnesty International. Yes, so Amnesty is an example of CSO. If you come down, we have PPAG. Yes, so PPAG Ghana is also an example of a CSO. You also have Maristopes Ghana, Maristopes. So you see all these NGOs that you see them. So we have Maristopes, we have Ghana SRHR Alliances, we have that is Youth Advocacy Ghana. So these are all. We have Savannah Signatures. We can mention a whole lot of them. So these are all example of what? CSO. So CSO, we have Amnesty International, we have PPAG Ghana, we have Maristopes Ghana, we have Savannah Signatures, we have Ghana SRHR Alliances, and so on and so forth. We can talk of a whole lot of them. So these are all example of what? CSO. So this help us explain the question number 1A. Then a B says that explain any two NGO types and explain its relevance to social work in Ghana. So here we need to add more context to any two of your choice. So here you can choose any two of your choice. We've given the 6 types of NGOs. So you can go for any that you want and any that you know you can write about them. So maybe Reverend will go for, let's say, the RINGO. That's the Religious International NGOs, because RINGO, maybe because Reverend is part of that association, maybe Reverend want to go for that one. So when we say RINGO, that is Religious International NGOs. What are they? So here you need to provide a brief explanation about them. And in brief, when you hear even the name Religious International NGO, what are they? They are faith-based entities. You get it? Or they are faith-based organizations that leverage international donor networks and also local religions structures like the churches, the mosques, and other things to deliver humanitarian and also social services. So when we say RINGO or Religious International NGO, they are all faith-based entities or faith-based organizations, and their core mandate is to leverage international donor support and networks, and also even the local religions, so the churches, the mosques, and also the local assemblies, to be able to provide humanitarian aid and support to these maybe communities that are vulnerable or in need. Now, I think a typical example I can give is, the missionaries. Sometimes they will go to a community, rural areas, then they will go and build missionary schools there. You get it? So these are all the humanitarian work that they do. We have, I think, aside the missionaries, now one of the churches that's doing very well is the Church of, I think, Pentecost. I'm getting it. Yeah, I think Pentecost. So Pentecost. Pentecost. Oh, it's not Pentecost. Pentecost. So yeah. Let me use Pentecost. They are building schools. They are building hospitals in the rural areas. You see, they are even giving some rural areas some signatures, some signposts. Do you get it? And other things. They are doing more developmental projects in other vulnerable or deprived communities. So this is what the work of these religious international NGOs. You get it? Now, what is it relevant to social work practice? So here you need to apply. So when you just explain them, then you relate it to social work practice. What is it relevant to social work practice? So here, what we can say is that in Ghana, where formal government social security systems face resource constraints, RINGO comes in to fill that crucial structural gap, because here, sometimes the government always faces these resource constraints, and there is always a gap when it comes to infrastructures. So that is where Ringo comes in. So these missionary schools, these schools that the Church of Pentecost and the Catholic, they are building for communities, there are things that the government should do, because here, when it comes to Ghana, the perspective that we are living is what? Is state perspective. Do you get it? So we are living a state perspective where the government is responsible for the welfare and the well-being of individuals. But then sometimes, because of resource constraints, some communities, they don't get some structures. So these ringos come in to fill that gap of resource constraints, where they can work through their humanitarian aids, or they will build structures and other things for other communities, like orphanage, schools, psychiatric support services, maternal health services. Do you get it? And so on and so forth. So here, because of the work they do, they are easily gaining society trust and also cultural competence within the communities that they build at. So now, communities that have missionary schools, if these missionaries, if they go there, they receive them calmly, and they even want to lie down for them to work on them. Why? Because something that the government was not able to do, they've come and they've even done it so super for them. You get it? So now, because social work, our main aim is to promote social justice. Our main aim is to provide for the vulnerable communities. Now, Ringo is fulfilling that relevance of social work by helping vulnerable communities and vulnerable populations to meet their needs. Please, I hope you get how I'm trying to link it. So that's how you should link it. Okay, so link it to it very well. So here, as I said, you take any tool of your choice, then you just explain them. Okay, but then there is one thing now I even forgot. So you see, before you start with the question 1B, before you explain any tool type, please make sure you define NGO first. Okay, so before you start, define what NGO is. So when we say NGO, what are NGOs? You get it? So define NGO. And I know when Doc came to class, he helped you define, gave you several meanings of NGOs. You get it? So I think the one I remember is that when we say NGO, we all know what they are. So they are non-profit organizations that help address issues in support of the public good. You get it? So they are all non-profit organizations, and they are also voluntary groups that help address some issues and provide support to the public. That is something brief I can say about NGO. So you just make sure that you define NGO before addressing the question number 1B. Okay. So you take any two of your choices of the types, then you just write it. So how I did and how I use Reverend and the Ringo to explain it, do it that same way when you get when you are trying to explain a question like that. Okay, so you take any two of your choice. So you can take Ringo, can take Gongo, any of them, then you just explain it. That is very, very simple. Okay, so that is how we approach the question number 1, which is a likely compulsory question number 1. As I said, we might surely have 2 compulsory questions, and we will be allowed to select one of them to address or to tackle. So you get 2 compulsory. You are entitled to select one of the 2 and work it out. Okay. So that is the likely compulsory question. Now let's go to the second one I also added. Okay. So the second one states that so there are theories and concepts for non-governmental organizations, international best practices. It says compulsory question number 2A. It says we should explain briefly the importance of theory for social work and NGO practice. So this question, just even forget about the sentence. The main idea is what? Importance of theory. That is what they're asking for. So that's the main work here. That's the main question. Just the one they've added is just to complete the sentence. The main task here is importance of theory. Okay. So this one is very, very simple. So what are importance of theory? So this question, please, before you answer the question, make sure you first of all define what a theory is. Okay. And we know what a theory is. That theory, there are a set of ideas and principles that help social workers to understand human problems, to also understand human behavior and also the social systems. And in brief, theories help us to predict human behavior. It also helps us to explain human behaviors and provide intervention to address human behavior. So that's very brief. Before you answer question number 1A, yes. So compulsory question number 2A. Make sure you define what a theory is. Then after that, you come and just list any 3 or any 4 relevance of theory. Do you get it? So we all know what theories, what they do. So 1, theories informs social work practice. That is the first importance of a theory in social work practice. So theories informs social work practice. What am I trying to say here? So when we say it informs social work practice, it simply means that it helps social workers in their engagement and also the assessment of clients' needs. That is what it informs social work practice. It helps in our engagement and assessment of clients' needs. That's the first relevance or importance of a theory. Now, the second one is that it provides a framework for our practice. So a theory provides framework. So what is this trying to say? So it's trying to say that theories offer structures or blueprints to analyze complex situations. So when we say a theory provides a framework, it simply means that it offers a structure or a blueprint that help us to analyze complex situations. So that is what a theory providing a framework. That's the second importance of a theory. The third one is that it guides interventions. Theories helps guide interventions. What is one trying to say? Simply means that it helps the social worker to use an evidence-based approach in dealing with client issues. Yes. So because of a theory, theories are scientific in nature. So it always makes sure that what the social worker is using to address a particular issue is evidence-based. Okay, it's evidence-based. That is also the third relevance of or importance of a theory. Now we can also say that a theory also helps predict outcomes. Yes, and that is very, very true. So one relevance of a theory is that theory helps predict outcomes. So now when it comes to even NGO development, theories allow NGOs to anticipate community reactions. Yes, every community and how they react. So even prior to doing your needs assessment, you know how the community will react. And after doing your project, what will be their reactions? So a theory will help you predict the reactions of a community. So it just lets you to know, give you a forecast of the whole situation or the whole project you are going to embark on. So theories help predict outcomes, and I think we can also say that theories ensures accountability. Yes, theories ensures accountability. So it provides, theories always seeks to make sure that it provides a baseline model to help donors and also evaluators to measure the success of their programs. Yes. Now, if you go to the field, they will give you money or funds to go and do projects on the field. Now, if you do projects, we need to evaluate to see if the project has achieved its goal or not. And what will help us to do that? A theory. So these are all relevance of theory in social work practice. Now we are done. Now question number 2, that's composition question number 2B. It says, discuss in detail any one of these. Yes, so these questions I was just contemplating, but I know he has taught you guys the hierarchy of needs by Maslow and also Menlo with the stakeholder prioritization, great stakeholder analysis. I know he has taught you guys that. So I just said, okay, let me just add these 2 questions to it to form to made up the question number 2. Okay. Now this question, how will you solve it? So you see, discuss in details anyone. So it simply means that with the question number 2B, you are only solving this or that. So here you don't solve everything here. So you take either the hierarchy of needs by Maslow, then you address it, or you take the stakeholder prioritization grid by Menlo. So anyone that you are okay with, then you take it. Okay. I know most of us, it's not most of us, everybody you should go because this one is very, very easy. The Maslow hierarchy of needs, very, very easy. And how do we start this one? So in starting this one, you need to first of all explain what Maslow hierarchy of needs, what is it? Do you get it? And we know what it is. So it just something small. Just give us a brief explanation of what Maslow hierarchy of needs. What is this? What is this about? You just write something small like 2 lines. Then when you are done, the next option is that, or the next step is that you need to draw the pyramid. I know you know the pyramid. Yes, that's triangle. Then you divide it into 5. Okay, so you draw the pyramid, then you divide it into 5. So the last one is what? Is psychological needs. The next is what? Safety needs. We have love and belonging. We have self-esteem and self-actualization. So you know it. This one is not, you know it. I know you know it. So I don't have to even talk later about it. So just draw the pyramid and label it nicely. Now that's another step because every step has a mark. So here, and you know these questions here, they all have a drawing that you need to draw. All these questions they require drawing. The stakeholder prioritization grade, this grade, we have a drawing for that. Hierarchy of needs to has a pyramid drawing. So make sure you draw. Then when you draw, you take them one after the other. When we say psychological needs, what are they? Maybe need for food, clean water, shelter, basic healthcare, and so on and so forth. Are you okay? Now when we say safety needs, what are they? You know them. Yes. So safety, that's personal security, emotional security, or emotional safety, freedom of violence, like something like this. You just explain them one after the other. Now, the question says that we should explain one that may be applicable to the field of social work and NGO development in Ghana. Okay, so NGO, what are their core goals? Their core goal is to make sure that the needs of the vulnerable are being met. And because they are voluntary and non-profit based, they always make sure that, one, if you take the psychological needs, that is food, shelter, clothing, basic health care, they also make sure that sometimes when they go to vulnerable places like rural areas, they build schools for them, they build hospitals. You just explain in that manner, okay, in that regard. So at each phase or stage, you need to explain the relation or the role the NGO plays there. Okay, so when you come to safety needs, what role does NGO plays as far as safety needs is concerned? Okay, the NGO sometimes they build shelter homes for survivors. You get it? Of, let's say, domestic abuse. Just to protect them. So you just write something like this. Yes. So you take this one, then you explain. That is all for the question number 2B. So here is either you go for Maslow or stakeholder the grade, any way you want. And this grade look at look at power and also interest. So when the power is high, maybe the interest is low. When the interest is high, the power is low. So you look at how low and high power. That is what Mendeleev is also trying to look at. So this one too, I don't know whether he taught you guys the grade. I don't know whether he explained in class, but then I know it's something that is part of NGO, because when you talk of NGO, they mostly deal with these two, the Maslow hierarchy of needs, because if NGO is going to any community, they use this Maslow hierarchy of needs to assess what is the most priority of this community. And they also look at this grade, because this grade let us know the power structures within the community, so that they will know that, okay, now this community, the influence there is very low, or the influence there is very high. So the high and low influences will also help them to know which step to take. Okay, which step to take. Okay, someone says, is it physiological or psychological? Oh, okay. I said psychological. Okay, sorry. Please, it's rather physiological needs. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Luanga. Reverend, thank you. It's physiological, not psychological. Yes, I think it skipped my mind. Yeah, it's rather physiological needs. Right. Thank you very much. Physiological, not psychological. In my mind, I know I said physiological. Sometimes what you say, the two can be faster than the other. You know that thing. So it's rather physiological needs, not psychological needs. Please. Thank you very much for that. Yes. All right. Physiological. All right. So that is it. So with this question too, you just take in your head. I know this is the easiest one. This is the cheapest one. The Maslow hierarchy of needs, because this one I know since primary everybody knows it. DHS, you knows it. Like SHS knows it. So this one there, I know social studies, we know what it is, so we can at least write something about it. But then with a grade, it's something most of us we are not privy to it. So maybe you can still learn something small about it, then maybe you try to understand. But then it looks at influence, that is power and interest within communities. So in any project, we have people who have interest in a project, and we also have people who control the power. So whenever NGO is going to any community to do project there, the community members, they have the interest, but then who has the power? Those assembly members. You get it? Sometimes because of their personal gains, they even end up making the community lose the project because maybe they want a share and the NGO don't want to give them their share. So because the NGO don't want to give them their share, then Obianko baby, who loses? Now is the people who are losing here. Do you get it? So this is basically about the stakeholder prioritization grade. So this is a very thing. As I said, with NGOs, we always do with these two. We don't go, no, we go with these two. So this grade help us to know the power dynamics within the community, and this also help us to assess the various needs of individuals within the community. Okay, so with the hierarchy of needs, as I said, from physiological to self-actualization, we need to understand each of them. So this is also how we will go with the question number 2. As I said, so I've given you two likely compulsory questions, and you are required to answer only one out of these two. Please don't answer 2 compulsory questions and go and answer because maybe they all seem very easy for you and you think those are your strengths. So you go and answer 2 compulsory questions, then you go and answer 1 optional question. They will mark 1 compulsory, 1 optional. So in the end, you are losing. Please, let's read the headings very well. And I know, as I said, I know him very well. So the compulsory will be 2. You will be allowed to answer 1. Then we might give you 3 or 4 optional. Then you choose 2 from there too. Okay. All right. So these are for the compulsory. Let's go for the optional ones. Okay. So you see, the likely question 2. That is the compulsory question number 2. Now I brought 2 questions under them. Now it's either, let's say if you are doing this is one on its own. This 1 full question. But then when you come to the likely compulsory question number 2, I brought 2 questions. So here it means you can choose this one as 1 question to do for your compulsory, or I brought another one. Okay, sorry. I think I didn't. Okay, so I think those are the one at the top. So choose between the 2. So this 1 compulsory. Then the first one is also another compulsory. So this one, you just assess your strength. On the 2 questions. Which one do you think you can write more? Just choose that one, then you're free to go. That's all. Okay. Now let's come to the reflective questions. So these are the optional questions we might get. These are the optional questions. Now, the optional question number 1 says that, so just give you these are all preambles. It says globalization, modernization, and nationalization have influenced the development of international social work and NGO. Okay, since the 19th century. That's very true. But this is just a preamble. What is the question? The question says that, what do you understand, or what do you understand by the term globalization? Okay, so when we say globalization, what is it? So here you will need to explain what globalization is on this question. So what is globalization? You just need to explain the meaning of globalization. That's simple. Yes. So I don't know. So when we say globalization, it refers to what? The increasing interdependence and also interconnectedness of people among economies, societies, and cultures. So when cultures, when societies, when economies are becoming increasingly interdependent and also interconnected among each other, we call it what? Globalization. Now someone can be here, then they will be dealing with somebody in China. Do you get it? Now there are no boundaries. That is what globalization. So when there is what? An increasing interconnectedness, integration, and also interdependence among economies, cultures, and societies, we call it what? Globalization. So globalization doesn't care about borders. No. With globalization, there are no what? Borders. There are no boundaries. We cross boundaries here and there to make sure that our needs are being met. So that's briefly about globalization. So you just explain it. Are you okay? I said. So here too, the reflective questions, they are all, the optional questions, they are all 15 marks. The composite ones are 20. Yes. And the options ones are what? 15 marks. So always, the question number one will always be 5 marks. So I intentionally add this marks there. I know, just to guide us. Yes. So here, when you explain globalization, you need to add example. You get it? You need to add example of globalization. You get it? So maybe exchange of goods and services, maybe let's say technology, exchange of, let's say, human capital, social capital. These are all examples of what? Globalization. Yes. Now let's look at, MTN is not Ghanaian based. It's from another country, and now they've come and set up here, and now they are making profit. That's globalization. Do you get it? So an increasing interdependence and also integration, as well as interconnectedness of what? Of economies, societies, or even countries and cultures. That is what? Globalization. Now when we are done, B says that we should analyze the implications of globalization process in NGO historical development. So here it's just basically about the implications of globalization. So here, implication can be positive or negative. So it depends on what you want to write. What you want to write. If you want to write all positive, that is fine. If you want to write all negative, that is fine. If you want to blend them too, that is fine. Okay? Yes, so that's one. Now, one positive I can give here is that we have what? We have financial interdependence. Yes, financial interdependence. Now, due to NGO, some countries are depending. Sorry, I said due to NGO. Due to globalization, some countries are depending on other countries for survival, for loans, and other things. And this is something that sometimes it limits the self-esteem and also self-reliance of some countries. Yes, and people go for loans, you see IMF and other things. So that's financial interdependence and also donor conditionalities, because if you are going for a loan for somebody, they will give you conditions. Maybe do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. But you had your own way, or before going for the loan, you had what you wanted to use the money for. But then because the money comes with conditionalities, they will tell you what they want you to use the money for. Do you get it? Or maybe it comes with conditions. So we can have this. So this one you can search around it. The implication that they can be positive or negative. So just makes maybe any four, then you just explain them briefly. You are good to go. Okay. Yes. So that is how we will deal with the question number one. And as I said, these are all optional questions. So let me even put it here. So these are, okay. So these are all optional questions. Okay. These are all optional questions. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the optional question number 2. Okay. So optional question number 2 says that it says we should highlight the ethical values of Ghanaian society and the professional values of social work raised in social work development practice. So here, I think this one, the last time I came to your class, you were doing this question. Yes, you were doing, as I said, this question. You were treating this particular topic, their values. There are 3, right? Remember them. There are 3 values. Yes. So we have respect for diversity, we have self-determination, and individual worth and dignity. So these are 3 values. Now, that's for question number 1. Now, if you list the values, you come to the II, that is the B. Okay. It says that highlight any 2 of these values and the issues social workers are facing regarding them. Now, if here we raise the 3 values here: respect for diversity, self-determination, individual worth and dignity. 3. Now here we are selecting 2 out of the 3. Maybe any 2 of your choice. If you want to go for self-determination and respect for diversity, that is fine. But any 2 of your choice. So when you select the 2, now with the B, it says the issues social workers are facing regarding them. So here, before you start, you need to explain the 2 you've chosen. So if you chose, let's say, respect for dignity, what is it? When we say respect for dignity, what are we trying to say? So just explaining it briefly. Now you come to the second one, you also choose. Maybe you also choose, let's say, individual dignity. What does that also mean? So just explain that briefly. I said you choose any two of your choice. Yes, I'm just using this as an example. Now, when you choose it, you just explain them at the II. Now, after explanation, you come to the issues social workers are facing with regards to them. You get it? Yes. Now, let's take this assuming you chose respect for dignity and self-determination. After explaining them, now you come to issues social workers are facing regarding them. So here, you just write the issues together as one. You don't separate them under each of them. Or if you want to do it one by one too, is fine. Maybe you take respect for diversity. What are some of the issues social workers are facing with respect to that? Maybe with this value, these are some of the issues social workers are facing regarding that. So maybe you write about two or three about it. You know, we have social workers. One issue we are facing about the respect for diversity is what? Is stigmatization. Because now, even though it's a value we hold in high esteem, but then yes, so when it comes to our practice system, there is still ongoing stigma, ongoing abuse. Like people are still racism. They are all ongoing despite this value. Are you okay? So we just raise some um, negative, some issues that we are facing as far as these values are concerned. Okay, so this one very very simple. Yes, we have severe resource constraints. These are also one of the issues we are facing as far as these values are concerned. Now, when we say resource constraints, due to resource constraints, sometimes when you go to, let's say, the hospital, a place where maybe it must take, let's say, one client or let's say two patients because of resource constraint. Now we have about 5 or 10 people in the same ward, and now here, people their dignity and everything they are being lost because some people, even if someone dies, you don't have to let them be naked, at least you have to cover them. But at some time, because of resource constraint, if you go to some walls, there are a whole lot of people there. People are, I don't want to mention, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yes. So you just explain this in a simple and a nice way. Yes. So that's how we go by this question too. Yes, we have respect for diversity. That is one value. That's the first. So the first one is respect for diversity. 2, self-determination. And 3, individual worth and dignity. Okay, so these are the 3 main values under NGO. Social workers, we have 6 core values. But then when we come to NGO, these are the 3 we are dealing with. Okay, yes, so Noah, yes, so that is it. So it's respect for diversity as we've written. Yes, so that is it. So you just explain, take any tool, then you explain, we are good to go. You see, very, very simple. Okay, all right. Now let's come to optional question number 3. Question number 3 says that, now, we have mega trends and contemporary issues, including social work technology, have enhanced Ghana national policy direction for social work and NGO development. This is just a preamble. All right. Now, here, maybe we should define technology in our own ways. He always mentioned this type of questions in the class, that define something in your own way, then support your answers with what? With what? An authoritative source. He likes a question like this very well. Yes. So we should define technology. So here you have to define technology, but then when you define, make sure you bring sources. So maybe technology can be defined as, let's say, maybe a scientific way of making work easier and faster. Like I'm just explaining it. It's a scientific way of making work easier and faster. It enhances the day-to-day administration, blah blah blah. Just briefly. Now, when we are done, you have to add a source. So maybe, so after define it, then you bring, let's say, source. Let's say Oxford Dictionary. Let's say Wikipedia. Let's say Google Scholar. Because when we ask you to define something in your own words, because it's a term, and you can't define it because some people have already defined it. It means that you need to define it by looking at the keywords that they use in their definition, then you add your own phrases to it. So that is why if you define something in your own words, you need to cite it. Give us a source. So when you define technology, please make sure you give a source like, let's say, Oxford Dictionary, let's say Oxford Dictionary, let's say Wikipedia, let's say Google Scholar, like give like about 2 or 3 sources there. 2 is okay. I think 2 is okay. All right. Now, question number 3B says that we should name and explain the 8 features of swims. So this question there, I know it will come, but then before you begin the question number 3B, make sure you define what swims are. So when we say swims, what are they? Make sure you define it. The social welfare information management system, what are they? Make sure you define what swims are. You get it? And I know you all know what it is. So it's what? It's a secure web-based case management information system. Yes, that line is very, very important. Swims is what? It's a secure and also a web-based case management information system. You get it? And they are designed to help document, to help track, and also to help report the provision of social welfare services across Ghana. Yes, so these are the main aim of the swims. So they are being designed to help document, to track, and report on provision of social welfare services across Ghana. Yes, so that is a brief about the swims. Now you come to the main question, the 8 features. Yes, you know these 8 features, I think if you look at several sources, it varies. But then there's this table dog always uses. I think that's what he has been using for a long time. If you go to Google, I don't know if maybe okay, when I'm done, I'll share that picture with Senior Sam, so he will put on the page. There's this grade that it has all the 8 on it. I think that's the one he uses. So I think if you are to give out the features, you need to go with that 8 that he uses. But then I think overall we have the features already. I know most of you, the social those that work at the social welfare departments, you know the features of the swims. Okay, so the first one is what? Is case management. So case management is the first feature of the swims. So this one, when you write case management, you need to write something small. When we say case management, what are we trying to say? Maybe it is used for what? To track and manage individual cases concerning child protection, social protection, blah, blah, blah. Something small. Don't write plenty. That's the first feature. Now the second feature is what? Is family reunification and alternative care. So that's the second feature of the swims. So here too, what are we trying to talk about? So it tracks separated or unaccompanied children and overseas placement of reintegration process. So swims also help in what? In the reintegration process of children who have lost their families and other things. So that's also the second feature of swims. Now the third one is what? Is incident monitoring. Incident monitoring. Swims also helps in what? Monitoring incidents. So it captures and also updates specific protection incidents like violations in real time and other things. So these are what? Also the explanation of incident monitoring. Now we have referral pathway tracking. Yes, so the science also helps in making referrals and others as well. And it also helps in what? In monitoring and reporting. Yes, it helps in monitoring. That's also one of the features, monitoring and reporting. Yes, so that's also one feature. And when we say monitoring and report, what are we trying to talk about? So it helps summarizes and also giving performance indicators, some statistical reports. You know, with the students you can generate statistics, pie chart, bar chart of the things you did in, let's say, the month under review or the year under review. We can give you all these things in it. So it helps in what? In monitoring and reporting. That is one feature of the swims. And it's also a multi-agency access control. Yes. So one feature of the swim is that it has a multi-agency access control. So it provides a secure and also a role-based access for the metropolitan and also municipal as well as the district assembly. So I think the last time when I came to your class, I think Mr. Arthur or this Mr. Arthur, I've forgotten the person. I think there was someone talking about, I've forgotten the person's name. Yes, or it was Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth, yes, Elizabeth was talking about it that sometimes, you see, districts by district. So let's say Kumasi metropolis and other things. So they can coordinate from other regions to be able to monitor what they are doing there. So it has a multi-agency access control. You get it? So that is also one feature of the SWIMS, and it is one another feature is data security and confidentiality. Yes, so it helps in protecting the data and also guaranteeing confidentiality. At first, this is go to the social welfare department. They were using these hard books, copies, and other things, and sometimes this office have bent. Everything is gone. No data, no history. Everything is gone. But now, with the help of the SWIMS, we have what data security and also data confidentiality. So I think, as I said, I'll share that thing with you guys. These are those that I remember. Yes, I will share that with you, and those are the ones Doc uses. You can write anything, but then he has what he uses. So I'll share that one with Senior Sam so that he will upload it on the page for you guys. So basically, this is how we also go by this question. Very, very simple, and these are all optional questions. So I think I gave you 4 optional questions. Yeah, I think this is the last one. He says that we should explain agencies. Yes, this one I think he did it with you guys. When it comes to NGO regulations, we have agencies that are responsible for the regulation of NGOs within every region that you find yourself. We have agencies responsible for the regulation of NGOs. So this question is also one question that I know regardless it will come. Yes, because when it comes to NGO regulation, you can't bypass a question about this because you are doing NGO. So definitely there must be. This one is not like they should be. There must be a question on NGO regulations. So this one too, he said we should explain agencies responsible for regulating standards for NGOs. Yes, and I know he taught you guys that I have about 4 agencies that are responsible for regulating NGO standards. Now we have Office of the Registrar General. So Office of the Registrar General is one agency. We have the non-profit organizations secretariat. That is, we call them the NPOs. The non-profit organization secretariat. We call them the NPOs. Now we also have I think we have the Department of Social Welfare. Yes, DSW is also one agency that is responsible for regulating NGO practices. And we also have I think we have the Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA. Yes, so I think 4 agencies are responsible for regulating the standards for NGO development. You get it? Now that is for question number 4A. Now the B says that critically examine the role of government departments and agencies. So here it just asking you that what role does each of the agencies you've mentioned play in making sure that the NGOs are efficient and effective in their works or in their activities. So here it simply means that if you take the Office of the Registrar General, what role do they play in making sure that NGOs, their roles and also their activities are efficient and effective? So here you write something small about them. Now let's come to the NPOs, the non-profit organization secretariat. Here too, what role do they also play to make sure that these NGOs that are forming will not breach or will not do anything contrary to what they are mandated to do? That's contrary to their missions and their visions. So they are there to set standards for them. So here you need to talk about the role the Department of Social Welfare plays in regulating an efficient and also an effective NGO performances or activities. What role does also the Ghana Revenue Authorities? You see, like this is what we should provide for the question number 4B. So in short, these are the reflective questions. As I said, when I started, I said I'm 90% confident of what I've given you guys. 90%. Okay. Yes, I'm 90% confident. So please make sure you go through. I've given you a touch or a brief explanation of all of this. As I said, I'm just facilitating the session. So I'm just giving you highlights. But then you need to do more about them, okay, and know how to answer them. So where definitions are needed, make sure you provide the appropriate definitions there. And where clarifications are needed, make sure you provide the appropriate clarification there. You know, some questions they will not ask you, but then you need to do better or you need to know better. Like these questions on theories. When they ask you any question on a theory, they will not ask you to define a theory, but you must define a theory. Yes, this one nobody should come and tell you. Yes. So when a question comes on theory, make sure you define what a theory is. They all should be form part of your introduction. And don't forget, I told you guys the last meeting we had that always intro, conclusion, always don't forget. This one should be part of you. There should always be an intro and a conclusion. Yes. So I think which question? Yes. So I think that is all for the reflective questions. And as I said, I'm 90% confident. So please make sure you go through them very well and just aid you. Yeah. Please, if you have any question, I can answer. If there are no questions, so I think I'm done. Yeah. And don't forget, you have two compulsory questions, of which you are mandated to answer only one. Please read the preamble before you start answering the questions. Okay. And also weigh the questions and know which one you think you can do more on it. Okay. The one you think you can do more, that's the one you must take. Yes. And also don't think that this question is too easy. Please, in exam we don't have easy questions. Don't no, Charlie. Don't be so no, Charlie. Make sure if they are very easy, do those ones. Yes. And as I said, all the questions here, they are very, very easy questions. And I think this one, if we're able to do and do it well, if we're able to do and do it well, I'm very positive you will get, I mean it's over 70 at your end of term. So you can get 60 or 65, yeah, if you are able to do it well. Yeah. So I think that will be all for today. Yeah, that will be all. Yeah. So please, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. So all the best. And as I said, please, my confidence level is high. So make sure you dwell on them. Okay, please. All right. So until then, we will meet when we meet. Okay. Please, bye bye, everyone. And make sure you come and make sure you go through them very well. Very important. Okay.